Folks, welcome back to another episode of Mayhem in the Midsouth. It's going to be episode 13, Atlanta Chow Murders, Part 3. And this is where we're at, July 1979 to March 1980. Got 6 known victims. So far, all the victims been in the southwest part of Atlanta. Not saying these are all related. I think there's at least one of them that's not, but I don't have enough information to say one way or the other, so we're going to cover 3 victims in this episode. 2 of them are definitely related to the serial killer. The third is not. The third one, I don't even know what to make of it. May 18th, 1980. Eric Middlebrooks, he's 14 years of age, lives over at 345 Howell Drive, number H4. It's an apartment complex. It's no longer standing. Now, the last time he's seen is somewhere around 10 o'clock at night on the 18th. Now, one day later, Eric's found next to his bicycle. It's back behind a garage, 247 Flat Shoals Road. Now, that's just right there by the apartment complex where he's from. Now, his pockets were turned inside out. His chest and arms had slight stab wounds. Now, the ME ruled his death as blunt force trauma to the head. Now, there was something of interest this crime scene. If you see that picture of Eric's left shoe, you see I've got a red circle around what appears to be a blue or black circle, and there's a piece of red on the bottom of his shoe. That red ends up being carpet fibers. Now, the investigator that recovered it, other investigators made fun of him, so did the supervisor, about him wanting to collect what appeared to be an insignificant piece of carpet. Well, there wasn't any carpet or like that around the rear of that business or anywhere else right there, so they had it examined, and that right there, folks, was the beginning of the end for a serial killer, because that was the first piece of what would lock him in to about a dozen murders. Now, you have to wonder about those multiple little stab wounds and the fact that his pockets were pulled out. Almost makes it look like a robbery. I wonder if somebody did that to make it look like that. I wonder if those little stab wounds were a method of torture. So there was some information that alluded to the victim had testified against some other kids in a robbery. Christopher Richardson, 12 years old, lived there off of 1495 Conway Road at East Lake Meadows. That's just off Memorial. Now, as you can see, that is far east of Atlanta there. That's going to be in Decatur, Georgia. And that is, at this time, the most eastern location for a victim. He was last seen outside of a Crystal Hamburger joint in the Belvedere Plaza Shopping Center. That's just off Memorial, and that's not more than about 2 rock throws away from his house. It's just east of his house. And that was about 1:30 on June the 9th, 1980. Now, he would stay missing until January the 9th, 1981. His body was found in a wooded area right there at the intersection of Red Wine and Desert. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, that's the same location where Milton Harvey's body was recovered. So our killer was dumping bodies quicker than the police could recover them. Now, they weren't able to determine a cause of death due to the condition of the body. Latonya Wilson. She was 7 years old. Actually, she was 6 years old, and she was 1 day away from turning 7. It's June 22nd, 1980. Now, she lived at 2261 Verbena Street. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not, though, the way I speak. But she lived in apartment 7. Those were the Hillcrest Heights apartments, which are obviously no longer in use. It's up there in Dixie Hills. Now, she was kidnapped from her bedroom. At least that's the story, or one of the stories. Now, some of the resource material just mentioned she was kidnapped or taken. Got another source, and according to it, there's 2 different people, witnesses, saw little Latonya being taken. Now, one of the stories says that witness saw a fella climb through the window 4 times to get into the apartment, and allegedly left out the back door. Now, it doesn't say if this witness called the police. That seems to be a recurring theme, and no one seems to be calling the police. Now, there was a fella, he claims he saw an older model van, 2 males and a female, there at the back of the apartment. He thought he heard some kind of commotion coming from inside the apartment. Now, little Latonya's body was found at the over there around Verbena Street, near the intersection with Swanee Avenue. Now, her body wasn't recovered till October 18th of 1980. Nothing left but her little skeleton. Cause of death was undetermined. Now, this case here, as you might guess, was not tied in with the serial killer. But I'm going to tell you there's something wrong with this case right here. I'm not talking about the death of a little girl. I'm talking about there's some people got some explaining to do. But this sure sounds like it's something sinister with this, and there's something wrong with it.